Check, 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 check. Test, Regina, test. Sound check, 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 check. I'm your host, ScullyPop, where the entertainment doesn't stop. Check, 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 check. Regina, Skull, Skull, Skull. Pop, tingle, pop. Test, 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 test. Gina Skull. Check, 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 check. Tingle, 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 tingle. Check, 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 check. We're coming in and share that. Share. Time to relax. Story time. Check, 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 check. Chapter 5. The Miller's Doctor. The windmill stood like a sentinel in the flat Dutch countryside, 20 kilometers west of Amsterdam. Its four arms turned slowly in the morning breeze, their wooden veins creaking with the ancient rhythm of wind and work that had sustained this land for centuries. The structure rose from the polder like a prayer made of timber and stone. 8 stories of carefully balanced engineering that had ground grain in the flour since 1742. Mariana Rodriguez sat in the miller's quarters on the third floor, watching dust motes dance in the shafts of sunlight that streamed through the small windows. The room smelled of wheat shave and machine oil, of history and honest labor. It was a strange sanctuary for a woman who'd spent the last 5 years orchestrating death from the shadows. Then again, Peter Van Houten hadn't always been a strange man. The old miller, 83 years old if he was a day, worked at a wooden table by the window, his gnarled hands moving with surprising dexterity as he repaired one of the windmill's smaller gears. He was built like the windmill itself, solid, weathered, seemingly indestructible despite his age. His face was a map of wrinkles carved by the wind and sun, his eyes a pale blue winter sky, his white hair wild as if the wind had styled it personally. "You're men," he said without looking up from his work, speaking Dutch with the thick accent of someone who'd spent his whole life in the countryside. "They drink my beer like it's water and eat my bread like locusts. Zamora alone finished half a loaf this morning." Mariana smiled. She answered him in flawless Dutch, the language of her maternal grandmother, the language she learned as a child before Mexico and blood and revenge became her native tongue. "Zamora has always had an appetite, but he's earned it. The work last night was clean." "Clean?" Peter snorted, applying oil to a metal shaft. "Is that what you call carving messages into men's flesh? Clean?" "Cleaner than what Edwin did to my brother." The old man was quiet for a moment, his hands pausing in their work. Then he said, "I knew your grandmother, before she left for Mexico, before she met your grandfather and got swept up in that world." He looked up, his eyes finding Mariana's. She was a good woman, smart, strong. She would have made an excellent miller if the world had been different. "The world is never different. It's only pretending to be." "Perhaps." Peter returned to his work. "But she would not have approved of this, of what you become." "She wouldn't have approved of what was done to me either, to my brother, to my family." Mariana stood and walked to the window, looking out over the polder. In the distance, she could see the spires of Amsterdam piercing the horizon. "Did I ever tell you about the vein rope?" Thought I fixed that music. Hey, Izzy Pop, Wallace. Good evening, good morning. Gina's here. Bigfoot, welcome. Cabin Life with Gina, Regina as well. Num, 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 num. Oh, thank you so much, Regina. Welcome to the Tingle Room. Thank you for becoming a member. Scotty, what's up, brother? Scotty. Welcome back, Regina. Just thanking you for that one membership. Appreciate that. It's great to have you on board. There's 15 wonderful emojis and badges next to your name, some behind the scene videos. I wanted to go live around this time tonight because 2 nights ago when we were doing it at this hour, we had like 40, 50 people in here. So we'll see what happens. Seemed like after about 30 minutes, they threw me out to the algorithm, and I got some pretty good hours on that stream. I've just wrote this afternoon, so it's pretty raw. It is going into the 3rd book of my trilogy of Dutch Coffee Shop. Yeet, yeet. Izzy, I didn't think he was gonna make it. I hate the way they got this music set up in here. Ridiculous. They charging so much money for this shit. There you go. As soon as I can get with my AI assistants to help me get these books published, I'm gonna have 4 or 5 new books. Oh, excuse me, man. I'm eating it up tonight. Yeah, Izzy's home, feeling a little better. Slowly regaining her strength and all that. Been uphill climb for a couple weeks. Oh. Okay, you wanna go on to sleep if you want, huh? Well, oh, y'all like the new image there? It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, why is my damn phone stream keep going to ads? The hell? What other music we got over here? Definitely want to move those. Let's see what this is. I think that was for the finale. Let me play our theme song for a second while I'm resetting. I guess Izzy not gonna do a Mardi Gras stream this weekend. Oh, you just working? Look at that, she working on the Mardi Gras stuff. Bigfoot. Yeah, I can. What I'm doing here is I'm narrating the book and all, and if I can take the transcripts from the streams and piece them all together and piece the manuscript together, get it ready for publication. Just another method to the madness, I guess. shit, I don't know if I get all these books published, and I mean, they all written, you know, they just need to be published. Get 3 or 4 more, getting where I've got like 10 or 12 books, and you know, with that right there alone, would probably start making a little decent living when you got that much work. Hey, Zindy. How you doing? I was reading, man. I'm about to get back to reading here in a second. Guess everybody had their fill of the Super Bowl tonight, huh? I literally did not watch one game this season, and I just peeked to see who won that thing. I don't know. I think American football is a bit overrated. It reminds me of the gladiator games before the fall of Rome. It's a wonder they haven't upped it to that level like MMA, you know, where it becomes even more violent. I don't know, maybe one day they go on the field and play football and got weapons and all kind of stuff. Who knows how it'll be in the future. Got a huge giveaway on hey, awesome, man. You hit that big 1K. Damn. Giveaway of Puffco, 4-tier Wiccan system, a lot of beans. Hell yeah. Man, I got a whole, I don't know if you call it a library of genetics, but if that ever gets legal to grow down here, I got a bunch of them. Hey, side order. Be pretty cool. Doing all right, side order. So Mariana says to the old miller, "Did I ever tell you about the vein rope?" The vein rope? My grandmother told me about it once. How the old millers would tie a rope from their bedsheet to the wind vane on top of the mill. When the wind picked up enough to turn the vanes, the rope would tug on the sheet and wake them. That was their signal. Time to go to work. Time to grease the shafts, adjust the sails, grind the grain. She turned back to Peter. I've always admired that. The diligence, the attention to detail. The understanding that good work requires you to be ready at any moment, day or night, whenever the wind blows. Peter set his tools down and studied her with those ancient eyes. And you think that's what you are? A miller waiting for the wind? I know that's what I am. I've spent 5 years preparing. 5 years oiling every shaft, adjusting every sail, making sure that when the wind finally blows, when all my enemies are in the right place at the right time, everything will turn exactly as I planned. And when the grinding is done, when you turn your enemies into dust, what then? Mariana didn't answer immediately. She thought about Edwin, about the way he looked 5 years ago in that Antwerp warehouse when he put a bullet in her brother's head. She thought about the men who stood beside him, laughing as they divided her family's money among themselves. She thought about her own escape, playing dead among the corpses, waiting for hours in the dark before finally fleeing. She thought about the hospital in Brussels where she'd recovered, plastic surgery that changed her face, the new identity, the new name, careful construction of Mariana Rodriguez. A woman who didn't exist before, who would be remembered long after. Then I rest, she said finally, like the miller when the wind stops blowing. Yeah, but the miller knows the wind will blow again. It's always more grain to grind, more work to do. Your work, Peter shook his head. Your work has an ending, and endings are dangerous things. They make people careless. The door opened below, and footsteps echoed up the wooden stairs. Zamora appeared. Costa Rican assassin who'd proven himself invaluable over these 5 years. He was dressed in mechanic's coveralls, playing the part of Peter's apprentice to anyone who might be watching. In this rural part of Holland, strangers were noticed. But an old miller and his hired help, that was normal. That was invisible. The equipment is in place, Zamora reported in Spanish. The factory in Ostdorp is rigged, remote detonators on all charges. When they arrive, Edwin, Hunt, the boy, anyone else, we can bring the whole structure down with a button press. And the exits? Covered. 3 teams in position, rooftop snipers on the surrounding buildings. If anyone tries to leave before the detonation, they won't make it 10 meters. Mariana nodded. The police? Our contact says they've been told to stay clear of Ostdorp today. Gang violence, he told them. Let them kill each other, and then we clean up the bodies. They won't interfere. Good. Mariana walked to a small table where a laptop sat open, showing a grid of security camera feeds. Factory in Ostdorp, captured from every angle. Empty now, soon to be filled with everyone who'd wronged her. What about the witnesses? The buildings are around the factory? Mostly abandoned, a few squatters, but they'll scatter once the shooting starts. No one to see, no one to care. Peter spoke up from his workbench, still in Dutch. You're planning to kill them all? Even the boy? Mariana switched back to Dutch to answer him. The boy made his choice when he ran to his father. He chose cinnamon over sense. That's a fatal mistake in our world. He's 14 years old. I was 12 when I watched my uncle die. 13 when I learned how to use a knife. 14 when I made my first kill. Her voice was flat, emotionless. Age is just a number. Choices are what matter. The boy chose. And the father, this Hunt, this dying man, what did he do to deserve your revenge? Hunt is a complication, a variable I didn't fully account for, but he's useful. He brought the boy out of Edwin's protection, made Edwin vulnerable, exposed the cracks in his organization. Now he'll die with the rest of them. Collateral damage. She paused. Though I admit, there's a poetry to it. The father dying to save a son, and both dying anyway. It's almost Shakespearean. Zamora cleared his throat. There's one more thing. We intercepted a communication from Edwin. He's called in reinforcements from Belgium, the cleaner. Mariana's expression darkened. Marcus from Brussels? Yes, that's unfortunate. Marcus is good, very good. He won't walk into a trap blind. Should we adjust the plan? Mariana was quiet for a moment, thinking. The cleaner was a legend in European criminal circles. Freelance assassin who specialized in making problems disappear without a trace. If Edwin had called him in, it meant he was taking this seriously. It meant he realized this was more than just a lost boy and a dying American. No, we don't adjust. We adapt. Marcus is methodical, like the miller. She glanced at Peter. He'll scout the location, look for weaknesses, assess every angle. Which means we need to give him something to find. Something that looks like a weakness but isn't. What did you have in mind? Plant evidence that we're operating out of the old church 2 blocks from the factory. Burn phones, ammunition, casings, food containers. Make it look like we abandoned the position in a hurry. Marcus will find you. Report back to Edwin. And they'll feel clever. They'll think they're one step ahead. But they're not. They never were. Marianne closed the laptop. The wind is blowing now. Everything is in motion. By noon, this will all be over. Peter set down the gear he'd been working on and stood, his old bones creaking almost as loud as the windmill's machinery. He walked to a cabinet and pulled out a bottle of Geneva, Dutch gin that had warmed these lands for centuries. He poured 2 glasses and handed one to Marianne. Your grandmother, she used to tell me about the windmills in Mexico. Did you know they had them there? Not like ours, of course, smaller, simpler, but the principle is the same. Capture the wind, turn it into work, feed the people. He sipped his Geneva. She said the difference between Dutch millers and Mexican millers was patience. We wait for the wind. They try to force it. And which one am I? You tell me. It's been 5 years waiting. Now the moment's here. Now that the wind's finally blowing. He met her eyes. Are you going to let it turn naturally, or are you going to force it? Mariana drank her Geneva in one swallow, feeling the burn slide down her throat like liquid fire. I've learned patience from you Dutch, but I've kept my Mexican heart. I'll let the wind turn the veins, but I'll make sure to grind exactly what I want them to grind. And if something goes wrong, if the machinery breaks, if the wind shifts, then I adjust, like any good miller would. She set down her glass. It won't come to that. I've checked every shaft, pulled every bearing, tested every mechanism. When those veins start turning at noon, they won't stop until everything is dust. Peter nodded slowly. Then I have one last piece of advice for you. Something my father told me when I was learning to mill. Something every miller knows, but few remember when it matters most. What's that? The wind doesn't care about your plans. It blows where it wants, when it wants, as strong or weak as it wants. You can prepare all you like, but in the end, you're not controlling the wind. You're just trying to survive it. He poured himself another Geneva. And sometimes the wind's stronger than the mill. Sometimes the veins break. Sometimes the whole structure comes crashing down. Is that what you'll think will happen today? I think you're trying to grind too much at once. Edwin and his soldiers, Hunt and his son, whoever else gets caught in the middle. That's a lot of grain for one mill to handle. The machinery might not take that strain. He drank, then added, and even if it does, even if you grind them all to dust and walk away clean, you'll still be alone. Your brother will be dead still, your family will be gone. And that hole inside you, the one you're trying to fill with revenge, it'd still be empty. Mariana felt something twist in her chest. Something she hadn't felt in 5 years. Something that might have been doubt, or grief, or just exhaustion from carrying hate for so long. Maybe, she said quietly. But at least there'll be dust too. At least they won't be laughing anymore. At least they'll know what it feels like to have everything taken from them. Yeah, Peter raised his glass in a sad toast. At least there's that. Below them, the windmill's machinery groaned and turned, ancient gears grinding against each other in the eternal dance of wood and metal and wind. Outside, the veins swept through the air with patient, methodical precision, turning the world's chaos into something useful, something productive. Or at least, that's what they were supposed to do. Zamora's phone buzzed. He checked it, then looked at Mariana. Movement. Edwin's convoy just left Club Paradiso. 8 vehicles, heavily armed. They're heading west. Fort Orsdorf? Fort Orsdorf. ETA, approximately 1 hour. And Hunt? No visual yet. But our informant says he and the boy are moving through the underground. Maintenance tunnels, old sewer systems. Smart, harder to track. Mariana walked back to the window, looking out at the peaceful Dutch countryside. Somewhere beyond the horizon, her enemies were converging on the killing ground she prepared. Somewhere out there, the pieces she finally spent positioning were finally moving into her final configuration. 5 years. Tell them to be ready. No one fires until I give the signal. I want them all inside first. I want them to see each other, to understand what's happening before the end comes. And if they don't all show, they will. Edwin's pride won't let him stay away. Hunt's love for his son won't let him abandon the boy. And the boy? She smiled. The boy is curious. He'll want to see how this ends. They'll all come. You seem very certain. I am certain, because I know them. I've studied them for 5 years. I know how they think, how they react, what they fear. She turned from the window. That's the difference between me and them. They fight with guns and violence and brute force. I fight with patience and information and understanding. They're storms. I'm the mill that grinds storms in the flour. Peter spoke from his workbench, not looking up from his repairs. The storm doesn't know it's being ground, it just knows it's angry, and angry storms are the most dangerous kind. And it's good that I prepared for that too. Zamora checked his watch. We should leave soon. Need to be in position before Edwin arrives. 5 more minutes. Mariana walked to Peter's workbench and placed a hand on the old man's shoulder. Thank you for the sanctuary, for the advice, for reminding me that even in a world of blood and revenge, there are still places where honest work gets done. Will you come back? After, I don't know, if I'm alive, if this works. Maybe. Or maybe I'll disappear again. Come someone else. Start over somewhere new. She squeezed his shoulder gently. I'll never forget this place or you. You're the closest thing to family I have left. And as family, I ask you one last time. Is this worth it? Is revenge worth risking everything? Mariana thought about her brother. About the last thing he said before Edwin shot him. Run, Maria! Mon Maria! Run and don't look back! She had to look back. She'd seen everything. She'd spent 5 years making sure that everyone who'd been in that warehouse would pay for what they'd done. Yes, it's worth it. It has to be worth it. Because if it's not, then I've wasted 5 years of my life. And I'd rather die believing in my revenge than live knowing I let them get away with it. Peter nodded. Accepted the answer even if he didn't agree with it. Then go, do your work. But remember, the mill stands still. The wind comes to it. If you choose the wind, you're no longer, if you chase the wind, you're no longer a miller. Just another leaf being blown around by forces you don't control. I'll remember. Zamora was already heading for the stairs. Mariana followed, but paused at the doorway and looked back at the old man and his workbench, surrounded by gears and tools and the honest machinery of centuries of labor. Peter? Yeah. I don't come back. Tell my grandmother's story. Tell people there was a miller's granddaughter who tried to turn revenge into flour. Tell them she failed or succeeded or whatever the truth ends up being. But tell them she tried. I will tell them. Now go, the wind is blowing. Good evening, Autumn. How you doing? Angela Critters, welcome, welcome. Jelly Duck, what's up? Moves a Farper. It's Moves a Farper. Scott. Zizzy Paw. There's Regina Bigfoot. Wallace. Lucy Paw. Body illusion. Body illusion. Scotty. Side tingle. The side tingle. Whoop, whoop. I'm tired, but I wanted to come say hello and hang out for a bit. Yeah, I'm very happy the way the story's going so far. I do need to do a fresh edit on book 2, which is Land of the Dirty South. The Dutch gangsters come back to Mississippi and get on all these wild goose chases with these rednecks and different people down here. And then Hunt, the protagonist, our main character, Hunt, he again finds out he's got a son he didn't know about, and he goes back to Holland, and he's now over here in this story chasing some people down and whatnot. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. That's the beauty of writing, I guess. Make your own adventure. Thank you for putting those emojis out there, Autumn. Ska. It's always a good compensation package, getting the membership. You get a few perks, and every little bit helps the channel. That kind of keeps it on autopilot, if you will. Jelly Pop. Hey, Felicia. Hey, y'all. Much love and hugs, Scully. How you doing? Y'all don't forget to hit the like. Share it out if you can. There you go. Lighten it up with some color, Autumn. There. You put some. I'll join you. 15 emojis there for you members. Don't forget, you got some behind the scenes videos. Gina's asking Autumn, you awake? Yeah, by all the night owls. I don't know about y'all, but I'm about ready for daylight savings already. It's over this winter. Well, you wait not much longer, huh? Hope you're feeling well, Autumn. What else we got here? Some easy jazz. Easy jazz. I'll check out our Mardi Gras live stream this weekend on Bourbon Street. But you seen Double, Izzy? Sometimes you feel so tired you want to just tape your eyelids up, keep your eyeballs open. Oh, you've been doing better lately. That's good. I mean, half of it's the stuff we eating, but the other half is the stress, you know. Felicia's saying hey to Izzy. Yeah, it's always fun to watch on Mardi Gras. Well, I don't know. It's a little bit too much to be down there for Mardi Gras. I just like going down the French Quarter on normal nights. It's plenty busy just when it's normal. But if you want to experience an interesting time, go down there for Mardi Gras. No doubt. I think every time I think about it, I'm thinking about it, you know, how New Orleans is only an hour away from here. Yeah, seeing it on camera's enough for me. Hear that? Shit, I think I had them running earlier. Let's see. They was pretty busy down there tonight. No, it's dead now. Ain't nobody down there right now. Not really. Some of the other imagery from the previous two shows. I've been knocking them out 2 chapters at a time, usually on these streams. Hey, Wolf. How you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. Doing some midnight matinee reading. Seemed like about this. Well, no, it was about an hour before this. We started going up real high on the numbers. Yeah, they starting to kick up now. Izzy, check it out, man. Once we started hitting those numbers the other night, I was wondering if it was a fluke or not. They're bumping up. I think the algorithm's sharing me out. Y'all watch those numbers. It'll go climb up to 40, 50 in a minute. And then some of our regular community will see all the action and pop in. No, I could be wrong, you know. I mean, shit, you think after 7 years, they might start sharing you out at some point. I don't know. Like, Angela Critters. Oh, making up something good over there. I didn't really have my music all lined up perfect. That's pretty good there. Mariana descended the stairs, her boots echoing on the ancient wood. Outside, 2 black SUVs waited, engines running. Her team was already loaded. 8 soldiers had followed her through 5 years of planning and preparation. Who trusted her vision of revenge more than they trusted tomorrow's sunrise. She climbed into the lead vehicle. Zamora took the wheel. As they pulled away from the windmill, Mariana looked back through the rear window and saw Peter standing in the doorway, watching them go. The old mill's veins turned behind him, patient and eternal, grinding whatever the wind brought them. To Osdorp, she said. The vehicles accelerated, leaving the peaceful countryside behind, heading toward the city and the violence waiting there. In her pocket, Mariana's phone buzzed. A message from her contact in Edwin's organization. The cleaner just arrived. He's advising caution. Edwin isn't listening. He wants blood. She smiled and typed back. Good. Blood is exactly what he'll get. As they drove, she thought about the windmill, about Peter's words, about her grandmother who left Holland for Mexico and never looked back. She thought about the vein rope tied to the bedsheet, about how the miller knew it was time to work when the wind started blowing. The wind was blowing now. Mariana Rodriguez, or whatever her real name had been before revenge became her identity, was ready to work, ready to grind, ready to turn 5 years of patience into one perfect moment of destruction. The mill was waiting, and soon, very soon, everyone would understand what it meant to be ground into dust. End of chapter 5. Shaman 420. Shaman 420. Wolf House. Boom chicka rah. Super wow. $4 million, Izzy. 0 calories. Wow. Tingle, 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 tingle. Ska, 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 ska. Ska, 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 ska. Susanna, Susanna. Guten Abend, Mevrouw. Slapen Sie lekker. Ik ga een beetje slapen nu. Ja, je slaapt lekker. Zo Nick Nederlands lezen. Should I read it in Dutch? Als je wil het kan ik doen. If you want me to, I can do it. Let's try something. What else we got up here? Trucker John. Trucker John. Trucker John. Scuss. Trucker John. Trucker John. Scuss. Oop. Trucker John. Scuss. Marcus van Brussel had killed 43 people in his career. He remembered each one, not out of guilt or pride, but because remembering kept him alive. Every target taught him something. Every job revealed a new way to die. This job, he knew within 5 minutes of arriving, was teaching him that sometimes the trap wasn't meant for the target. Sometimes the trap was meant for everyone. He stood in the abandoned church 2 blocks from the Ostdorp factory, his pale gray eyes scanning the scene with the methodical precision that had earned him the nickname the Cleaner. The church was a gutted shell, roof partially collapsed, pews rotted to splinters, stained glass windows long since shattered by vandals or time or both. And scattered throughout the ruins, evidence of recent occupation. Burned phones, empty food containers, cigarette butts, shell casings from 9mm rounds, discarded jacket with what looked like blood on the sleeve, even a sleeping bag stuffed hastily behind what remained of the altar. Someone was here, Klaus said beside him. Edwin's quiet killer had been assigned as Marcus's guide and liaison. Recently. Maybe as recently as last night. Marcus crouched beside one of the burn phones, examining it without touching. This is too convenient. What do you mean? I mean this. Marcus gestured at the evidence scattered around them. Professional criminals don't leave this much trace. Not unless they panic, and whoever we're dealing with doesn't panic. They've been planting this for 5 years. He stood, brushing dust from his knees. This is theater. Someone wants us to find this, wants us to think they were here. Warum? Because while we're here looking at fake evidence, we're not looking at the real staging area. We're not questioning why we are being thrown to one location at one specific time. Marcus walked to what remained of a window and looked out toward the factory district. Tell me about the factory. Savon Edvin received coordinates for. Old textile manufacture plant, abandoned since the 90s, 3 stories, lots of open space, multiple entry points, good sight lines from surrounding buildings. Good sight lines? For who? Us or Tim? Klaus was quiet, understanding dawning on his face. How many men did Edvin bring? 40, maybe 45 best soldiers from his organization. Heavy weapons of light armor to works. Anti-American, Hunt. He's dying man with 14-year-old boy. Probably minimal weapons, he's just trying to survive. No. Marcus turned from the window. He's not trying to survive, he's trying to save son. Which means he'll do the things a man trying to survive wouldn't do. You take the risk. It'll be unpredictable. He pulled out his phone, opened the map and application, studying the factory and surrounding area. It's Mariana Rodriguez. She knows that. She is counting on it. Evan says she wants revenge, says she's been planning to send off Antwerp. Revenge for what? Edvin killed her brother 5 years ago. She took her family's money, he disappeared, soon dead. She was not dead, she was planning. Marcus studied the map more carefully, his mind working through angles and possibilities. And now she's brought everyone together in one place. Evan and his 40 soldiers hunting the boy, probably her own team. All of us in the abandoned factory with good sight lines from surrounding buildings. Looked up at Klaus. You understand what this is, yeah? A trap. Not just trap, kill box. She's going to break that factory with explosives. Position the sniper on the roof and wait for everyone to walk outside. Everyone dies. She brings the whole thing down. Hunt, Edvin, the boy, me, you, all of Edvin's soldiers. One button press and 5 years of revenge is complete. Klaus's face went pale. We need to warn Edvin. Call him now. Klaus pulled out his phone and dialed. It rang 4 times before Edwin answered. His voice clipped and tense. What did you find? Boss, Marcus says it's a trap. The whole thing is a trap. The factory is probably rigged to explode. We need to abort. Marcus heard Edwin's response, even without the phone on speaker. I'm not aborting. We're 3 minutes from location. We have 40 men and enough firepower to level the city block. She wants a war, we get one. Boss, you're not listening. No, Klaus, you're not listening. Yeah, I've spent 15 years building. I'm not going to let some ghost from Antwerp tear down because she got clever. We go in, we find her, we end this. Those sort of orders. Marcus said, I don't care what Marcus say. He's freelancer. You're my man. So you decide right now. Are you coming with me? Or are you staying at the church looking at garbage? Klaus looked at Marcus, who shook his head slowly. I'm coming, boss. Go to get to the factory east entrance, 5 minutes. Edwin hung up. Marcus took the phone from Klaus and crushed it under his boot. That phone has a GPS. If Mariana's as smart as I think she is, she's been tracking every phone in Edvin's organization. She knows exactly where we are and where we're going. And what do we do? You do whatever you want, or you're Edvin's mind, like you said. But me? Marcus pulled out his own phone, triple encrypted, military grade, untraceable. Sent a signal message to a contact in Brussels. Then he removed the battery, dropped the pieces in a puddle of stagnant water. I'm going to find the tall building very far away and watch through the binocular, okay? Because in about 15 minutes, that factory is going to become a crater. And I prefer to observe craters from distance. You're abandoning the job? The job was to help Edwin eliminate the problem. But Edwin is the problem now. He's letting pride and anger override basic survival. That is the fatal in the business. Marcus started walking toward the church exit. You want some advice? Free of charge? Walk away right now. Find a train station, get on the first train going anywhere, and don't look back. I can't do that. Then you're going to die in approximately 14 minutes, maybe less if Mariana's impatient. Marcus walked out of the church into the gray Amsterdam morning, leaving Claus standing among the fake evidence and the real choices. He'd done 43 jobs. This will not be his 44th. Some mills he learned were best observed from a distance. Boom, boom, boom. Trucker John. 18-year-old self wants to go to Amsterdam and smoke the hash, cruise the red light district. And the 65-year-old self says, I'm good. Good night, Miss Critters. Hope you get some rest. Scotty throwing up a fire. Susanna Pop in the house. But yeah. Thank y'all for coming in. Got a nice little crowd tonight. You know, Dutch Coffee Shop was my baby. Excuse me. Golly, about choked on myself. Dutch Coffee Shop was my first novel, my baby, and then I wrote Land of the Dirty South. Now we're putting this together to complete the trilogy. And it fascinates me to be doing this, you know, like 10 years after I wrote the first book, and actually longer than that. But just to continue the saga and all that, very cool. Very cool. Hell, I guess you don't even really have to go to Amsterdam anymore, John. Probably a matter of time. It just ends up recreational nationwide. I don't know. I really don't know which way it's going to go. Khadija. Khadija. Hey, sweet and low. Scuss, cuss, 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 cuss.
I can tell we need to talk about things, so I'll let you start. Yes, I'm listening. Oh, I understand that. You need help with what you say? Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy, because the last time that we talked about this, I felt like I was really clear. I gave you everything that you needed to hear, but you're still asking me for more. No, I'm just trying to understand what you're asking for, because the only thing that I can't really describe right now is how angry I am about you not listening to what I said before. You're just not listening. You're projecting and you're not listening.
I don't know. I think I'm probably start doing the midnight matinee regular. I've been doing really good numbers at this hour, you know, like what, 2 nights ago we had 40, 50 people in here for 2 hours, and the night before that was pretty good too, but I think it's a good fit for a lot of parts of the world, and of course the night owls in America. But I don't do too many early day streams. I usually always do them at night. But I've been trying to, you know, throw some paint on the wall, see what's going on. I know a lot of y'all go through the same thing. You know, what time should I stream? What time should I upload? Any time is a good time. So, thank you, Regina.
I start my day in silence.
Start my day in silence.
Where's my notebook? My dreams, write them down. Write down your dreams. Write down.
You always the early bird.
Write down your dreams.
Getting to jump on the competition.
More
But how you do it, Khadija?
silence. And now
What compels you forward some days, you know?
my journey to where I'm going is steady and still silent. I gather my belongings and my clothes, my garments, my gloves, my socks, my heels, and I put them together in a way that I'm telling a story with my appearance. The silence starts to break. I start to sing to myself and gauge how I feel. I put my clothes on and still more
Check,
silence,
check, check,
more
check, check.
silence. Where's my water? Drink plenty of water. Be fluid. Be one with water. Be one with air. Preparing myself for the adventure, for the purpose of music, for the
Tunnels smell like centuries of waste and neglect. Water drip from rusted pipes overhead, splashing into the puddles that reflected the beam of Jimmy's flashlight in fractured patterns. The walls were covered in moss and graffiti, the floor littered with debris that crunched under their boots. Jimmy's lungs burned with every breath. The cancer was winning now, eating through him faster than his will could push back. He vomited twice in the last hour. The pain medication long since metabolized into uselessness. But Teese was beside him, and that was enough. That had to be enough. How much further? Tease asked, his voice echoing in the confined space. JB said the tunnel opens into the factory basement. Should be another 100 meters. Jimmy leaned against the wall. Are you okay? I should be asking you that. I'm fine. You're dying. I'm fine until I'm not. Jimmy pushed off the wall, forcing himself forward. Keep moving. The longer we're down here, the more chance someone finds these tunnels and cuts us off. They walked in silence for a while. The only sounds their footsteps and the constant drip of water. Then T said, "Why did you really come here? And don't say it was to save me. You could have sent me a message. You could have warned me from Mississippi. You didn't have to come to Holland." Jimmy was quiet for a long moment, shining his light ahead to where the tunnel curved out of sight. "Your mother, Sophie, I loved her. Not the way you're supposed to love someone, not with marriage and picket fences and all that, but real love, that kind that lives in your bones. And when she told me she was pregnant," he stopped walking. "I made a choice. I chose my life over yours. Chose to stay in my world instead of trying to build a new one with her. And that choice has haunted me every day since." "So this is guilt?" "This is responsibility, Tease. There's a difference." Jimmy started walking again. "Guilt is what you feel when you've done something wrong. Responsibility is what you do about it. I can't undo the past, but I can make sure you have a future that's different from mine." "Even if I don't want that future?" "Especially if you don't want it. Because you not wanting it means Edwin's already got his hooks in you. It means he's convinced you that his world is the only world. But it's not, Tease. There are other ways to live, harder ways maybe, less exciting, but also ways where you don't have to wonder if every person you meet is planning to kill you." Tease was quiet for a moment. Then, "The man I killed, the junkie, I think about him sometimes. Wonder if he had a family, wonder if someone's missing him. And then I wonder if anyone would miss me if Edwin had decided I was the one who needed to die. I would miss you, even if I'd never met you. Even if I died without knowing you existed. Somewhere in my soul, I'd have missed you." Jimmy put his hand on his son's shoulder. "That's what family is. Not blood, not names. It's the part of yourself that lives in someone else. The part that keeps going after you're gone." "That's sentimental." "Yeah, it is." Jimmy smiled in the darkness. "Maybe sentiment gets you killed, but living without it, that's not living. That's just surviving until you stop." Ahead, the tunnel widened into what looked like an access chamber. Jimmy's flashlight beam picked out a metal ladder leading up to a hatch in the ceiling. According to JB's directions, this should open into the factory basement. "This is it." Tease looked up at the hatch. "What if it's locked? What if Mariana's people are already inside?" "Then we find another way. But we're running out of time. It's almost 11. If we're not in position by noon, Edwin will walk into whatever Mariana has planned and we'll lose our chance to what? Stop a war we didn't start? Say people who want to kill each other? Why are we even doing this? Why not just leave? Get on a train like you said, go somewhere else, let them all kill each other. Because you're not like them yet. You've done things yet, hard things, but you still question it. You still feel it, and as long as you feel it, there's hope." Jimmy moved to the ladder. "If we run now, if we let them all die without trying to stop it, that'll be the moment you become what Edwin wanted you to be. Survivor without a conscience. I won't let that happen. You can't stop it. You're one dying man. I'm one dying man with a son who's smarter and faster and braver than I ever was. That counts for something. Jimmy started climbing, his arms shaking with effort. Now come on, we got a mill to jam. Tease followed him up the ladder. At the top, Jimmy pressed his ear against the hatch, listening. Silence. Or at least no immediate sounds of danger. He pushed the hatch open slowly, wincing as the hinges squeaked. Light flooded down, not sunlight, but the gray illumination of a warehouse space. He pulled himself up and through, helping Tease after him. They were in the factory basement, just as JB had promised, but the space wasn't empty. Explosives everywhere. C4 charges wired to what looked like remote detonators, placed strategically on support columns, walls, even the ceiling. Enough explosives to bring down the entire structure and everyone in it. Jesus. Jimmy moved closer to one of the charges, examining the wiring. Professional work, military grade. Whoever rigged this knew exactly what they were doing. This is what Mariana has planned. Get everyone inside, then bring the building down. No survivors, no witnesses, just rubble and bodies. Can we disarm them? Not without the detonator code. And even if we could, there's probably someone watching with a remote trigger. The moment they see us tampering with their work, made a gesture of an explosion. So what do we do? Jimmy looked around the basement, his mind racing despite the pain and exhaustion, and he saw it. The old industrial fire suppression system, the kind that dumped thousands of gallons of water when triggered. The pipes ran throughout the building, including near several of the explosive charges. Water and C4 don't mix well. If we can trigger the suppression system, flood this basement, it won't disarm all the charges, but it'll compromise enough of them to make the explosion less effective. Give people a chance to get out. How do we trigger it? Fire. Enough heat to set off the automatic sensors. Jimmy pulled out his lighter. One he'd carried since his 20s, the one that had lit 1,000 cigarettes and 100 pieces of evidence he needed to destroy. But once we start this, we'll have maybe 2 minutes before this whole place becomes chaos, and we need to be ready to move. Where? Up to the roof, high ground. We warn whoever we can, then we get the hell out of here. Tease nodded, his face pale but determined. Okay, let's do it. Jimmy moved to a pile of wooden pallets and debris in the corner of the basement, stacking them under one of the fire sensors. He doused them with something flammable he found in a maintenance closet. Maybe paint thinner, maybe cleaning solvent. Didn't matter as long as it burned. When I light this, run for that stairwell. Don't wait for me. Don't look back. Just run. Tease. Jimmy grabbed his son's face, looking and looked directly in his eyes. I'm dying anyway. You're not. So when I say run, you run. You understand? I understand. Jimmy could see the tears forming. Now get ready. He flicked the lighter open and the flame, tiny but brightened. Hello, Faith. You need a bad chick to help you with the script. Hey, Scully. Hey, Bisco Bob. What's up, buddy? Chugga-lugga-lugga-lugga. Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. Boom chicka. early bird. Tingle, 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 tingle. ScullyPop and some more.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out.
Friends, what's up? It's Friends, what's up?
And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Tingle, 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 tingle.
They don't wanna see me make it, they don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air.
Friends, what's up?
Void is forming and they're scared I walk a straight path. Not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine. I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't
You got your cup?
I swear I'm never gonna
That's
stop.
good. Got my cup too.
Listen, I swear I will get back up, 'cause I don't deserve a thing, and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down.
We got our cups.
They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out.
Khadija, I hope you had a good day off today. Or yesterday, rather.
And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
I'm just gonna assume if you got your cup, it means you got through another day and you're doing well. And ready to face the day. Put you a teaspoon of sugar in there for me. A little bit of that yummy coffee creamer. How's all the night owls doing out there in the early birds? Tingle, mingle, tingle, mingle. Yeah, you cooked, church, slept all day. There you go. Off a few chicken, cabbage, rice, peas, cornbread, muffins. Oh my God. Starving right now. About getting my grits and my protein powder on here soon. Let me check the message here real quick. No, that wasn't a message. Something else. I need links and passwords and everything else in this world right now. I need a link to my brain. www.ScullyBrain.com. Yo, Faith, I'm gonna subscribe up to you over there. Not subscribe to your channel, but I am now. Yeah, I've been eating it up, Khadija, and I think I put maybe 5 pounds on the past week. That's a lot for me. I know that because my belt, I got to loosen my belt up a little bit. Getting some meat on the bones. Khadija told me one night, she said, "Damn, son, my bones weigh more than you do." Oh my God. I had done lost so much weight when I was real sick, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I lost that much. Fucking real, man. I mean, I got some people who can look at food and gain weight, but I got the opposite problem. The convoy pulled up to the factory in a formation that would have made a military commander proud. Eight vehicles and a defensive perimeter. 40 soldiers deploying with practiced efficiency. Weapons ready, eyes scanning for threats. Edwin stepped out of his armored Mercedes and looked up at the factory. 3 stories of rusted metal and broken windows. The word textile still visible in faded paint above the main entrance. It looked like exactly what it was. A tomb. Spread out. Teams of 4, check every room, every floor, every shadow. If you see movement, you light it up. No warnings, no negotiations. We're here to end this. Jurgen approached, holding a tablet that showed thermal imaging from a drone they deployed.
Boss, we're picking up heat signatures. Ground floor. Looks like maybe 6 to 8 people. And something in the basement. Hard to tell, but it looks like equipment of some kind.
Mariana's people?
Most likely.
Edwin smiled. Finally. After 5 years of running, 5 years of planning, the ghost from Antwerp was about to become very real and very dead. Send the first team in. I want confirmation before we commit everyone. 4 soldiers moved toward the main entrance, weapons raised.
They were 10 feet from the door when the fire alarms inside the factory began to wail. Then the sprinklers activated, water cascading from every floor. Then the explosion started. Not all at once, not the building leveling destruction Mariana had planned, but enough to blow out the eastern wall in a shower of brick and flame, enough to collapse part of the second floor, enough to send Edwin's soldiers diving for cover as debris rained down around them.
And in the chaos, in the smoke and fire and screaming,
Edwin saw movement on the roof. 2 figures, one older moving slowly, one younger moving with the desperate speed of survival.
Hunt and the boy. Get them! Someone get me those 2 on the roof.
But his soldiers were scattered, taking cover, returning fire as targets they couldn't see through the smoke and on the surrounding buildings. Edwin saw what Marcus had tried to warn him about. Snipers. At least 6, positioned perfectly to rain death on anyone in the factory courtyard. The first sniper round took Jurgen in the chest. He dropped like a puppet with cut strings. The second took out one of the vehicles, punching through the windshield and killing the driver who'd been trying to pull away. Then more shots, more death, more chaos. Edwin dove behind his Mercedes, his perfect plan disintegrating into a nightmare of ambush and confusion. This wasn't a fight. This was an execution. And he was the one being executed. His phone rang, unknown number. The answer, rage and disbelief warring in his voice. Mariana!
Hello, Edwin. Did you enjoy my church? The evidence I left for you to find.
You're dead, you hear me?
I've been dead for 5 years. It's quite liberating, actually. No rules, no consequences. No one left to disappoint. But you're about to learn what being dead really feels like. I've spent half a decade preparing for this moment. Every piece, every player, every possible outcome. And now you're exactly where I want you. I'm going to find you. You're going to die, Edwin. Maybe not today. Maybe not from my snipers or my explosives. But you're going to die knowing that I took everything from you. Your organization, your reputation, your soldiers. Just like you took everything from me. The line went dead. Edwin looked around at the carnage, his soldiers pinned down, his vehicles burning, his perfect war turning into a rout. And on the roof, those 2 figures were still moving, still escaping, still defying him. He raised his gun and fired at them, emptying the magazine in rage and futility. From her position in a building 3 blocks away, Mariana watched through high-powered binoculars as her 5-year plan executed itself with beautiful, terrible precision. The factory was partially destroyed, but not completely. Someone had triggered the fire suppression system, compromising her explosives. Clever. Had to be Hunt. He was proving more resourceful than she'd anticipated. Edwin's forces were in disarray, taking casualties from her snipers, but also returning fire. It wasn't the clean execution she planned, but it was chaos. And chaos served her purposes just as well. And on the roof, the American and the boy were running, trying to reach an adjacent building, trying to escape in the grinding wheel she set in motion. Zamora stood beside her, his face troubled.
Do we engage? Take them out?
Mariana lowered the binoculars and thought about Peter's words, about the wind in the mill, about forcing versus allowing, about the emptiness revenge was supposed to fill. She thought about her brother dying in that Antwerp warehouse. She thought about 5 years of planning and patience and perfect preparation. She made a choice. No, let them run. But the plan was revenge. And revenge. She paused, watching the tiny fingers on the roof jump across to another building, the father pulling the son to safety. Revenge doesn't require everyone to die. Just the ones who deserve it. Edwin deserves it. His soldiers chose their path. But that boy, that dying father trying to save him, they're not part of this anymore. Boss, with respect, we had them. We could end this completely. No, Zamora. We could extend it infinitely. Because if we kill that boy, we kill that father. We become exactly what we're fighting against. We become the thing that creates the next person like me. Someone who spends 5 years planning revenge because someone took away everyone they loved. She picked up the detonator, the one connected to the remaining charges in the factory basement. One button press and the building would come down on top of Edwin and whoever else was still inside. The mill grinds what the wind brings it, she said, and the wind brought me Edwin. That's enough. She pressed the button. Jimmy and Teese were running across the roof of the adjacent building when the world behind them erupted. The factory basement exploded upward, the remaining charges detonating in a chain reaction that sent the entire structure collapsing in on itself. The sound was deafening, the shockwave knocking them both flat. Jimmy covered Teese with his body as debris rained down around them, chunks of concrete, twisted metal, dust and ash that filled the air like a toxic fog. When the rumbling stopped, when the dust began to settle, Jimmy rolled off his son and looked back. The factory was gone, just a crater filled with rubble and the burning remnants of vehicles and the screaming of survivors, if there were any. Is it over? I don't know, but we're alive, and that means we keep moving. Jimmy pulled his son to his feet, and together they ran across the roof, away from the destruction, away from the grinding wheel, away from the mill that had tried to turn them all into dust. Behind them, Amsterdam burned. And somewhere in that building, somewhere in that burning city, check. I messed that up. Check. And somewhere in that burning city, a woman named Mariana Rodriguez lowered her binoculars, unplugged her detonator, and walked away from 5 years of revenge. The wind had blown, the mill had ground, and somehow, impossibly, 2 people had survived. For now, end of chapter 6. Check. Awesome. You got 6 chapters now, guys. Hey, Ross. What
What's up, buddy? Gator. Liked up, brother 31. Yeah, you right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so I'll take the transcripts from these readings later and form the manuscript and then publish it to complete my trilogy. It's a good plan. Just have to break it down into tasks, and just try to chip away at it. Yeah, we did another 2 chapters. They're pretty long chapters, so I appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. I'll probably start doing these midnight matinees. They seem to be going well. Let's put on some Izzy jazz here. Let's see what I got. I like 3 and 4. Yeah, I got a whole album of jazz music Izzy made for me. Don't forget, we're going to have our, let me pull that up so y'all can take a peek at it. Image file. Where are we at? Shit. That it. Yeah, there it is. I'll be doing some live on Bourbon Street this weekend and stuff for Mardi Gras. Oh my God, I've been working my mouse all day long on my computer. It's making my hand twitch. Scully's a skinny meanie like me. Eat like a cow, huh? You right. Work all week to gain a pound and Monday morning lose it. But I am definitely expanding my diet. It's getting better, and my gut biome's starting to diversify. So y'all know everything you eat gets eaten by your microbiome before you eat it. You know that, right? And all those little microbes produce different things that fuel our body. And they're just like us. They like to eat certain things. So if you're not feeding all of them, in other words, you don't have a diet of 20 to 30 different plants or things in a week's time, your biome gets less diversified and cause a lot of problems, But we'll just leave it at that. Also sad to hear about the passing of Brad Arnold yesterday from 3 Doors Down, the singer. He grew up in Escataba near me, and I've been watching them since they became famous. I actually got to talk with him one day. I got his autograph. He was a Mississippi boy just like me. And he made some great music, and I've listened to it many times to get me out of a funk. It's unbelievable, man. They're 10 years younger than me, like, poor fella got cancer, man. And it's crazy. I don't know why. I just kind of left a hole in my heart. To me, that was kind of like when Elvis, passed, and
how it made people feel. That's kind of what I felt when I heard about the singer yesterday. I actually learned about it this morning. Unbelievable that they were so successful. So successful. Let's see, am I live here? Y'all can hear me, huh? Something said weird there. Yeah, keep rocking. Here without you, baby, we on my lonely mind. I think about you, baby, dream about you all the time. I know what song it was. I moved that song up to like jazz number 9 again. No, Jazzy 10 was it? I'll leave it there. Yeah, but I'll probably just continue on reading the Dutch Chronicles for a while, or if y'all want me to read something else, I can do that, whatever. I need to go through my emails and look at all my submissions and actually collaborations and interviews that I promised people and try to come up with some kind of plan, you know. I don't mean to, I just don't want to put people off and give them the wrong impression. That is not the point. Oh man, my back feels so much better. I threw my back out so bad like 10 days ago and it hurt so bad for a week, and then went to the chiropractor. He's like, damn, Scully, your left hip's completely locked up. And I was like, yeah, no shit, man. Why do you think I'm like walking like I got a corn cob up my butt? You know? And then he over tweaked it and made my right hip node back there, you know, those knots on your back where the hip connects. I mean, it's just locked up, and I've been trying to pop it all day. I've been 4 or 5 days in a row. I've been walking a couple miles a day, trying to build those little muscles up. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be a trip looking at the Mardi Gras. Yeah, well, I've gotten more use. I really like the instant grits because they're so quick. You know, you get in there and get in, get out, and get your fuel and fuel the body up or whatever. But I've grown to love the 5-minute grits. You know, and I usually cook them down really good for about 10 minutes. I get them really creamy and soft. You know, it's almost like the stuff right under the corn on the cob, you know, that little tiny layer that of white that you can just like that little area of that corn cob, you know, just if it's you get it where it turns into like a cream, you know. I mean, because that's what grits is, you know, taking corn and grinding it up, the cob and everything, and then it just forms into these grits, you know. And if you got to cook them just right, you know, like I eyeball it. I don't even measure. I just look for a certain consistency, and then I know after I cook them that they're going to soak up some of the water, so I've got to get that right. And then I'll leave them to cool for about 15-20 minutes, and they get a tiny little film on top of the bowl, you know. And then I take a whisk and I just whip them real good like whipped cream, you know, and they taste like
Oh, they're so good like that. A little bit of salt. You can put a little sugar in them. You know, but these are kind of like little bit like healthy type snacks that people that have, you know, gut problems. And I need to stay away from dairy. I don't know. I love the biscuits, you know, the Bisquick biscuits and all that, but the dough is just a culprit for me. So, I mean, I do love food, and I hate that I have such a limited diet. You know, I need to. It's a matter of having time and learning how to cook things. You know, be creative with what you got. So, yeah, I can't believe how many people have been coming in late at night like this, man. I definitely, and I'm usually up at these hours anyway. So, but we, you know, we're working on this other channel too. We'll make it pop. It's going to be a platform, and where we promote a membership platform that has all kind of tools and classes and things you can learn to up your YouTube game 10, 20, 50x, you know. Just all the things we do before videos and after that we spend hours and hours on, just having tools that you can do it like in minutes, and then you can focus on the things that you love to do and that you're really good at, you know, why you got into YouTube. So, but it's a slow process putting all that together. I mean, I've coded 30 different apps, and I don't want it to look like a Chinese menu at a restaurant, but the most value is really just coming in and listening to what we have to say and using the resources and stuff. I mean, there's like master classes and 30-day, 90-day plans to get your YouTube channel to, you know, monetization, all these cool things. So, yeah, I might have to try some pecans. Maybe I'll try to get pecans back in my diet. What you cooking with pecans, Khadija? Well, besides cookies, you know? Shit, I took those Bisquick biscuits and toasted them up real crispy in the oven, and man, put some jelly on them. They tasted like cookies to me. I was like, oh my God. And I think I ate too many that day, but I paid for it in the morning, you know, like my stomach, but it didn't really flare me up. It just, you know how it is when you eat too much dough? Shit. No pun intended. Doctor gonna tell me no wheat, no dairy, no whatever. I'm like, I mean, that's all the food, man. Well, how long we been live? 2 hours and 1 minute. We're gonna put our theme song on and shut her down here in a minute. All this talking about food and got me hungry. DJ's like, screw that, man. I'm going to eat. He didn't even reply to what I said. I'm out of here. I'm going to eat. Boom shakalaka. I created a really cool mood board app yesterday, you know, where you take your photos and spread them out like a collage and make them bigger or smaller. And it'd probably come in handy for like presentations or putting image packs together for clients, you know. I made some beautiful websites for some local businesses here on the Gulf Coast. Like they're really cool, man. They got like scroll animations and the websites I've learned to make. They're like $5, $10, $15,000 websites, man. They're gorgeous. But there's still a few things about it I'm learning, so I just really haven't got out there and hustled very much. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. I'm your host, ScullyPop, where the entertainment doesn't stop. We look forward to seeing every one of you, and we enjoy our time together. We have a good community over here, a good membership program, lots of good stories and education type content and entertainment. So you guys stay tuned. Maybe we'll have get a theater panel together one night and read. Who knows? Let's see here. What the hell did I do with it? Oh, there it is.
Well, hey there, friend, pull up a chair. It's your boy ScullyPop with stories to share. From the page to the stage, I've done it all. Books on the shelf and curtain calls. I whisper tales in the dead of night with a little ta-ta-ta just to feel right. And if you need some tingles down your spine, ska, yeah, that sound is mine. So buckle up, it's quite the ride. We're going deep, no need to hide. Where the entertainment doesn't stop. You're tuned in now to ScullyPop. So close your eyes and enjoy the glide, and we'll see you on the other side. I've read my novels by candlelight, with every chapter feeling just right. I'm the author that reads to you slow, with rhythm and rhyme in every flow. My fingers snap, the mic goes hot. Live from the heart, I give all I got. A little jazz, a touch of noir, mix in some ASMR and you're not far. Ska, 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 ta, 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 let the rhythm carry you. Ta, 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 ska, ska, ska. Feel the story, feel the vibe.
Bone down.
Ska, ska, ska. Ta, ta, ta. Let the rhythm carry you. Ta, ta, ta. Ska, ska, ska. Feel the story, feel the vibe. Buckle up, it's quite the ride. We're spinning dreams on the other side, where the entertainment doesn't stop. You're vibing now with ScullyPop. So dim the lights and let it slide, and we'll see you on the other side. Yeah. Stories whispered, curtains raised, books turned to gold and voices praised. I'm just the guide on this wild old ride, and if you're still with me, I'll see you on the other side.
Alert, alert, Moonlighter, Moonlighter. Moonlighter.